Hello, hello. So here we have an interface for viewing results from evolutionary simulations for the discovery of sounds. And on this screen we can see the phylogenetic trees or the family trees evolve during those simulations. So each node is a sound or sound genome, and the next one is its child, and we can see that some nodes spawn more children than the others. And it's possible to hover the nodes to hear the sounds. And here on the top left corner we have audio units for sequencing the notes together. These are inspired by the experimental sampler audio stellar, or at least the setup, so having a left column of audio nodes, and here on the right we have settings for the currently active node. And here at the top is a long list of experiments which we can click into to see the different results. Some are completely failed and others are perhaps slightly interesting, at least visually. And I'll paste in a direct link, so the URL at the top updates as we select different experiments, so we can bookmark them, which I have done. Some of the ones I like interacting with, so I'll paste a link in here. So this is from a supervised experiment based on predetermined classes. So if I hover nodes, we should soon start hearing some sounds. We can see this is from the cough class. We can debate about whether this is a realistic cough, which is not really the goal to do sound matching or emulate something, but rather to kind of direct the evolution into some interesting direction. So what happens when I hover a node, a server finds the corresponding genome and sends it off to rendering, and then we eventually hear the rendered sound. And so by default we have this looping unit, which just plays the sounds in a loop. And we can change some parameters like the playback rate for individual sounds. And so this is a kind of a nicely complex family tree, and interesting to see how, for example here, one ancestor seems to have spawned this long tree. So it's a you could say a great grandparent. Then we have different types. We can instantiate more of the same, or we can try another type, like the trajectory unit, which simply plays each sound only once by default. This is a harsh sound, so that can be interesting to explore. The available sounds. And if we try another map, we could select from the drop-down menu, but here I'll again paste in a URL which I had bookmarked. So a different experiment, different parameters, quality evaluation methods, and so on. And we can have different units. Let's try the trajectory unit, which simply plays each sound once on each hover. So with this unit we can hover notes to hear one-off playbacks, one-shots. But it also offers the capability to record our movements as a trajectory. So if I press this button here, on the first hover, the trajectory recording starts until I stop again. So now if I stop, I can see my recorded hovers for that sound, and that sequence playing in a loop. And I can change the parameters for each instance of the sound. And it's possible to record another trajectory. Then we have a simple sequencing unit, or maybe not so simple, which I've instantiated here, which quantizes the notes I click on in that case. So if I start clicking notes, they are equally distributed within the time frame, and I can change the speed of that, so how many bars the sequence is taking. And I can increase the BPM setting. And one potentially fun feature of this unit is that here in the settings panel on the right there are sliders, kind of like evolutionary sliders, also inspired by AudioStellar, which allow you to control the likelihoods of growing the sequence, shrinking it, mutating sounds already in the sequence, mutating their relative positions, the probabilities of selecting sounds from other family trees, and the probability of placing sounds at the same time step. So you can in a way discover like chords potentially. So if I try to crank these settings up, we should see the sequence on the left start changing. let's only grow it. So now we see two sounds placed at the same time step. So that's the group probability kicking in. And one extra fun experiment was adding this meta mutation slider, which mutates the values of the other mutation settings. So if I crank that up, you'll see the other sliders start changing. So this can be one way of automating some compositions or organizations of these sounds. Now if I move on to yet another experiment by pasting in another URL, we can there maybe use that experiment to try the fourth and latest addition to the audio units, which offers the integration of the live coding language Strudel, which is based on tidal cycles. So the web version is easily portable, so it's relatively easy to incorporate it into a web application like this. So the idea here was to offer a different kind of unit where live coding snippets are automatically generated when you hover the audio notes. But at the same time, you can manually change the code that is generated by adding some custom effects, for example, or node settings. And while you further hover new nodes, your custom modifications should not be changed. So let's perhaps try this. We are having some gain issues here, so I hope this is okay. So this is a fairly new addition, so there are bugs. So when I hover nodes, there are some glitches when new audio buffers come in. But you can see when I hover a new node that the code changes here. So this is kind of like a sliding window or sliding list rolling. So you can see the snippet being updated as I hover new nodes. And let's then try customizing this a bit, slowing it a bit down maybe. So a bit less busy. And let's see what a delay can do. Small delay. And maybe try some filters, low pass filters. So different settings applied for each sound. And when adding new sounds, here on the right we have settings controlling how many sounds are added to the automatically generated part. So we can increase this, for example, up to 6, and the second slider sets how many repetitions of each sound on each hover are added. So if I increase it to 2 when hovering a single note, we should get 2 repetitions of the corresponding sound. So now we see 55 twice here. Let's maybe try reverb. And maybe control some notes. And so in this screen which we have been using, we have the phylogenetic trees, but the experiments, they are usually running in a 2-dimensional grid, and we can view that search space as well in this interface. So if I click here at the bottom right, I can see kind of like a heat map. And so this is the actual search space the algorithm was working with, placing elites in each cell if the corresponding sound was placed in that section of the search space. And if it was performing better than an existing occupant, then it became the new so-called elite. And we have here a slider where we can scroll through the history. So here we are at generation 4500. And if we go back to the beginning, we see the coverage is a bit more sparse. But maybe some of the early ancestors are also interesting. So I can control silent mode with this button here at the bottom left, or press the Alt key on my keyboard so I can move into place without changing the sounds. So now if I take it off, we have some new sounds. Still have these glitches which I need to fix. Sorry about those. So I hope you try this out, and hope you find something interesting, and it would be really interesting to hear what you think, what you like and what you don't like, what you would like to have, what is missing, and so on. And so here is this long list of experiments to scroll through, but currently you can't influence the evolution, but that's one perhaps obvious next step to add to this, so you can be a part of the evolutionary process. Thank you.